what, John? What is it?
I didn't even realize. Why do we have a Rupido Tiny on the offlane? Never mind what I said.
We have an offlane. That's what I'm trying to tell you, John. These players, they don't listen to the cast. I can tell. They're not learning, John. These core tinies, they're not good. And I'll tell you what, on top of that, that Lycan pick was perfect. It's a perfect Lycan pick. There's no counters. No. Who's gonna kill this Lycan in wolf form? Nobody.
No one. No. They don't have control, don't have a way of really stopping Lycan again from just charging in with a DP on top. Like both these heroes can just literally run at you. I'm just so curious because I was like, all right, Grimm's is on Undying, fine. And then it didn't make me realize you have tiny offlane for Rupido. I don't get the value in that.
I hate it. I hate it.
Like, I know, like, again, it's not an aura builder. You're still going to go blink. You're basically doing the middling utility build from offlane. So that just means the timings of all of that is thrown completely off. At the least, you have some high activity from Ken. So there's this Quap Tiny connection that can happen, but...
Yeah, I can see it, John. I understand. Like, the idea is get a quick blink and just start connecting with the Quap. I get it. But every time we see Core Tiny, I swear to God, the blink timing is worse than if they would have been support. Every time. At least in the last qualifiers you and I did, it was really bad. Like, we were seeing 20-minute blinks for Core Tinies over and over again. That's just... If it's going to be a 20-minute blink, it's unacceptable for a Core Tiny. Like, just don't even waste your time with it.
Yeah. It's not been feeling good. I think looking at those other qualifiers, the Tiny has had a 48% win rate over 54 games. Mind you, I was watching a different region for a little bit, and the mid Tiny was winning, but again, I haven't seen it on offlane, as we are getting consistent Discord issues for the Trailer Park Boys.
Naturally.
Which is fine. It happens, and I can see it actually happening. It's been... I mean, the routing issues, especially in Mongolia, are a thing. You know, there's several things they have to take care of to actually get a connection into Southeast Asia. So that I can actually understand. If it's the Filipinos complaining, I'd be like, probably a nothing burger, unless they're getting hit by a typhoon. I mean, we did see Team Nemesis get fully disconnected because, frankly, it's been raining for a good solid 5 days now here in most parts of the country. So... I can see internet cutting out. Hopefully it holds up for Ivory, though. Because God help us, we get Discord issues on Trailer Park Boys, it'll be sorted, then you get a 5-man disconnect in Ivory, and you're like, all right, that's cool. Guess we can ramble on about Tiny again for the nth time. If you so wish, Mike, give us more.
I mean, remember what happened last time, John? You tried your best. You tried your damnedest to find any excuse under the sun for this hero. You did. You know, you tried, but in the end, even you fell to your knees. You know, even you knew this hero just isn't it, John.
No, but I don't know. Like, this is a game where I would say Tiny's an absolute terrible pick. Yes, especially in offlane. But I don't know. Like the few games we saw, again, I blame the side lanes more than I blame the Tiny. You know, it's like
that's all right.
You know, that happens too sometimes. You know.
But think about this, John, right? If you had another hero and they still had terrible side lanes, would they have been better?
Same.
No.
It's still the same.
You think
Nothing
it's still
connects.
the same?
I think it's still the same. In those games we were casting in that different qualifier, I think it's still the same. In this case, you really would have had something else than Tiny. You really would have. Like, why didn't you just take Undying offlane for Rupido? Why not? Take the Tiny 4. Rupido gets farmed, he gets Crimson Guard here, which is amazing against a Lycan, by the way. Would honestly be super sick if you actually just ran that.
I mean, I think the idea is they can't core Undying because he can't hit Lycan. He doesn't want to hit DP because you're just going to get siphoned and Axe is just going to call you. So I think that's probably the idea for the core Undying. But I appreciate that I'd still rather core Undying than core Tiny in the offlane. No, I'll be honest.
I think that's the wrong mindset. It's like you're not supposed to hit heroes #1. You might care about the call, sure. All you're there for is popping as much decay as possible before turning on your Crimson Guard as the Undying in a very bad matchup. That's normally what you go for, which is still higher impact than Tiny with a 20 blink, if that's how it ends up. I agree. Right? Like, again, Crimson Guard is key here. You're up against Lycan. You pointed out, no natural counters. The only thing that stops him a little bit, just a tad bit, is a high HP hero with Crimson, which Tiny will not go Crimson. There is no way in hell You rush Crimson Guard on an offlane Tiny. Again, you're seeing Rupido queue up. Yeah, it's Blink Ults. It's going to be Octarine if the game somehow reaches that point, as we tend to see with a BKB perhaps, which, again, farming from offlane we'll have to see. Maybe they're cooking something up here on Ivory. Maybe, you know, this wasn't a draft trap. This is exactly what they wanted. They're going to have to show us that this was exactly what they wanted. This, again, for the Trailer Park Voices, Lycan last pick is just perfection. 423, again, having his specialty. Just good old standard Lycan. No Alpha Wolf shenanigans. No Spirit Wolves weirdness here. Just plain old pure Lycan here, Mikey. I know you get so hot and bothered seeing that Dominator Overlord. You can't help yourself. You love them animals.
I do like it. I do like it, John. I'm not going to lie. If only Necrobook came back, though. If only. It'll happen one day, John. Trust me.
You know what? I wouldn't mind if it's like touchdown slightly more and made a tier 3. Would that make you happy?
Why would you touch it down? It's already useless.
Yeah, but it's going to be a tier 3 instead of tier 5, you know? Several minutes earlier, Mike. It's about tempo.
Revert it to back the way it was. For the love of Christ. Rupido?
No.
It's going to be a 2-for-2 trade in the bounties. Nice even start. Here's a mid lane we haven't had the pleasure of seeing for a while, Jonathan. We're going to have a mid DP versus a mid Quap. You and I, it's been, I want to say it's been at least a year since we've seen this. What are you thinking between the Quap DP matchup?
It's going to be very interesting. I feel like this is more of a test on Ken because Death Prophet mid has been popping out a little bit more. You feel really good with your output on Crypt Swarm now with the damage being slightly buffed up. And, you know, you have the chase down with Spirit Siphon. I want to see if Ken will go over invest in Shadow Strike because that's the only way it feels like you can poke back at Sanctity. You don't have a big threat on Scream, but it also means your last hit here for Ken is slow, and look at that with the right clicks.
Oh, he has the Purifier. Oh, Ken, you got to be careful. The right clicks do hurt from this DP, and well, as you can see, John, she's not really that bad of a mid laner. Apparently, is Ken. Oh, Ken, you're scaring me. He's got another Crypt Swarm too. Ken's really on edge here. He's gonna survive. Can he do something with this? Spirit Siphon out? Maybe? Sanctity? No. Ken's down. Sanctity could just deny himself. He won't, though. Ken's gonna buy back to try and secure, and he won't get it. Oh, no.
Oh.
I think he was... Look, I know it looks like an RQ. I'm pretty sure he was buying back to try and secure the kill. I'm pretty sure. Okay.
I think. Look, I'll take it a step back. I don't think he was looking at the kill. He wanted the creeps. He knew he'd be way too far behind with the creeps dying under tower. There were like 2 range creeps diving in. So that's it. Right. It's very smart from Ken, but at the same time, it's costly. Then again, you know, initial buybacks aren't too expensive. You're still going to get a slightly stalled out bottle timing, but you're still finding it anyhow. So overall, I'd say not too bad for good old Ken. That's quite the snap decision, but it's a very smart decision when you expect this lane to be hard. So let's see if it costs him even further. Taking a gander top, and this lane for Aizen is the one that should be feeling good, and it's not the best of times for 11. You have a good way of softening up with Grims. You do have decent damage here from Narman and 11 though. Every time Shadow Realm's up, you can poke back quite hard. As we do get the pause now from the side of Ivory. Instant G from Drick. Interesting. Is sorry for the pause. No problem. Fine. You know, it's fine.
He wasn't apologizing to you, John.
It's all fine. I appreciate the apology. You know, I'll pretend Drick's talking to us. It's like, oops, they're gonna trash talk us again about pausing in the middle. Just go ahead. We know Mike's there.
Yeah, I'll definitely trash. They know that. Ken again, mid lane. Look at this, John. He just can't sustain himself. Like this Quap matchup's just not really panning out in Ken's favor. Bottom lane, it looks like Say's starting to have a little bit of a challenging time, but of course he's pos 5, so what does he care? 423 is having a great old time there on the Lycan, which you kind of anticipate. There's no counter here at the bottom lane for this Lycan pickup, as Rupido's going to try and contest for a Healing Lotus, but is not going to be able to, as we do have a pause now from Rupido, and everyone's claiming they're lagging apparently. Look at Drick, by the way. Like there's just wolves chasing Drick the whole time this is happening. This is the thing with 423 Lycan, right? Like, he's very good at microing these wolves over and over again. So, this is why I hate when teams give him a free Lycan game. Because it's just, no matter what you do in laning stage, he's not going to allow you to actually do too much. Bottom lane, they are going to try now to say, and maybe they'll have the Naga and they do. But tell me how you deal with this Lycan.
You really don't. Maybe you try to hope for like a Crimson or a Guardian Greaves up. Otherwise, the Wolves will just be a constant nuisance here for sure. Again, you have to count your lucky stars. It's not an Alpha Wolf Lycan because your game is hell. If the Alpha Wolves are there, yeah, your backline's just completely dead every single time. So he's going for this more standard carry, which is fair. He's going to have that longer shapeshift. Again, this build-up in lane is just going to be nice and fast overall here for our Lycan 11.
Bit of a chase onto 11. He's going to actually go down. They do secure the damage with the multi-shot from Eisen, so a very nice pickup here in the off lane. Nama was trying to go for the pool at the same time, but you can't underestimate Undying Drow. You can't really even axe in that. Like, he just drops Tombstone and they just chase you down so easily. At the very least, he knows at some point he's going to die like that, so it's kind of a given. You at least die once to that combination. Surprisingly enough, looking back at mid lane, Jonathan, he has kept up in CS pretty well. So, you know, as judgmental as I'm sure some people are going to be about that earlier buyback, it feels like it is somewhat paying off.
And it is. Again, it was necessary for him to even reach this point in the lane. If he lost those 2 range creeps, he'd be not even towards level 5 now, maybe a little bit earlier, half the levels down, and then you'd have that big advantage for Sanctity to reach a fast 6. This time it's not as wide of a window, so we'll get a little bit more. It's just hellish. Again, especially since Ken is just forced to go level 2 Shadow Strike anyway.
Damage.
So that means you can't... It really is. And that's without the full Power Treads either.
Oh, he's
and for
looking.
Ken...
He's looking.
Oh.
Oh, Ken's all right. My apologies, John. He's looking. He's having a look for a Crypt Storm on Ken. You can feel it. But he won't get it this time. Meanwhile, top, yeah, they're chipping away at 11. He's going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, the horrific mid lane for Ken is bounced out by how hard the lane is for 11 up top, at least. And you might be happy enough with that trade. Getting this build up on Eisen perhaps is enough to get you comfy, but I don't feel like you're actually winning top harder than the DP's winning on mid. So you're not enough to trade away for. Again, for Ken, going maxed out Shadow Strike is... Yeah. It's detrimental. I mean, he has to play lane with Shadow Strike, sure, but he's not going to have a jungle presence. He's not going to have flash farm, and his kill potential is cut down because he lacks that burst without Scream of Pain levels. This is not going to be an easy game.
Oh no! Even the Wild Ring Ripper helping out now. The Hurricane push away so he gets the rune. I mean, it's just an illusion, but John, I mean, the point is he gets a refill on the bottle. And Ken's life gets even harder now because there's rotations. Narman's here, but he does blink away at the right moment. He'll be okay. Though it seems like they might just pressure this mid tier 1 tower here, John. They've got Exorcism up. I mean, why not? Just start moving. In fact, here we go. Rick rotates over. No. This is a bad idea because Sanctity's happy to move in. He'll get the Tame the Beast off, but it's not really going to help him that much as eventually they will secure him. Hell, I don't even know if they need the Exorcism. That Siege Creep alone's doing so much damage here onto the tier 1 mid. And it seems like Sanctity instead's going to have a look around to see if there's any stacks being made. Or even Shrine of Wisdom, why not?
Yeah. A little bit slow in the uptake for the side of Ivory. Rupert is not able to get in position to take this away. And again, you're finding everything. You find both shrines, your mid lane's winning hard, your top lane's not losing as hard as the mid lane's losing here for Ivory, so you are trading well enough. And you are getting that ultra free space for 4-3. So they'll go for the siege. This is just so damn fast with the Lycan on top as well.
Bottom. Yeah, they've got Rupiter here on our core Tiny in all its glory. There it goes. Bottom tier 1 tower set to go down. Narman does at least fall top lane, so they are trading somewhat here the side of Ivory, but it really doesn't feel like a good trade. Like, you find a support for a core, not good news. Yes, you're fine in the top tier 1 tower, but there's time to defend if they really want to. Though it looks like they're more than happy to just connect mid instead. Sanctity looks like he wants to start pressuring that mid tier 1 tower again. 8-minute power rune's about to spawn. Who finds it? It's going to be Kent. Happy days for the Quap. But look at that tier 1 mid tower. It's at 185 HP. And Sanctity, he's at the point where he might just force a deny or maybe just go for the kill onto Ken. Oh my God.
Lord. Really?
Oh my, he had blink too. Meanwhile, Eisen goes down. 4-2-3 finds Eisen. He wasn't even there, John. What killed him?
I want to see that
killed him?
replay. I'm guessing it's a wolf or a dominator creep. Either or. Sent across while he's in shapeshift. It does have the move speed to kind of get that done. And yeah, he probably just microed away. He did pop shapeshift. He wasn't there, so the creeps get the move speed and the critical strike as you are on pack leader. So there you go, the global gank. Good old 4-3. We were talking about it. We were mentioning this in draft. It's his specialty.
You can't give this guy a free liking game, man. It's just a free win for him. His top lane. They are going to dunk onto Grims. Thank you very much for the bonus armor. In fact, never mind. He got one-man army, but you're still a bit... It's top lane. They are bringing heroes in, but the T1 tower's already gone here, John. Not much point in being here anymore if you're Ivory.
No, and for Ivory, I'm not sure how you launch your game now. Your offlane tiny, your blink timing is really a dream. Maybe in 5 minutes you can find out, or at the fastest 3 minutes, which is still a long time. You at least get the deny on mid, but Ken's farm's held back because, again, he doesn't have Scream of Pain maxed out. It's just that you don't have great ways to connect to use your Shadow Strike and soften heroes up, and you're just getting invaded now.
Oh, Grims is getting dragged through the brambles. Nothing he could have done. Even drops the tombstone to make matters worse. So Say's going to find himself a bit of free gold on the Naga. I mean, look at Rupido on this tiny. Like, he's just, every time he gets close to the creeps, 4-2-3 just sends wolves at him. And he has to just leave. Yep. Now, you tell me, where does this tiny farm? This is my problem with core tiny. Where does he farm now? What does he do?
I mean, it's very specifically this offlane. I don't think you should ever do this. I legitimately, at this point, you might have been better off to just accept Tiny's going to lose any lane he's on, send him mid, set him up for jungle, and have, like, Rupido play an offlane Quap if you really needed that. Or just run support Quap for Undying offlane, pause 5 Ringmaster might have been better overall, but you can't fix any of that now. 3K behind, 8-3. The Trailer Park boys are finding everything you could ask for, and they're just scouting Eisen constantly with the wolves as well, making him feel uncomfy in just trying to farm his own jungle up. I mean, there's no threat. Terrifying. They aren't alpha wolves at the least. But, you know, just keeping vision up on Drow is, doesn't make you feel safe here, Mike, when you're trying to play catch-up in a game that's, on paper, looking dreadful for them, for the side of Ivory. If they look at the scoreline, they're not feeling good.
Well, what I'm really worried about is the fact that the Helm of the Overlord's going to be coming up in about 100 gold, John, for our liking. And, yeah, 4-2-3, I mean... I feel like at that point, just join your team. Yeah, I know it's early, but it's like, what are they going to do to stop you? Like, there's nothing they can do to stop this Lycan right now. Eisen's nowhere near ready, of course, on the Drow. He's going to need a lot more farm than that. Let's see what they do. But now they do buy our smoke. There is pings coming out towards Eisen as the wolves were on top of him again. Seems like Ivory are already kind of stuck on their side of the map. Map is getting smaller as even the Ancients now being taken by 4-2-3 freely. Helm of the Overlord's up.
Run around the Lycan. I don't know if they can find something off the smoke. They do have level 3 Scream now for Ken. Perhaps it's enough damage. If they get a good flank, you need to gun for the softer targets. Like if Song comes in, you're not getting that burst. If you get Brambles up, you're just stuck, and your counter control here on Ivory isn't there until Tiny Blink is up, and again, that's going to take a while for Rupido. Although he's only about 110 gold away, so actually not too bad considering the circumstances. Siege has begun, though. You need to find a way to stop it, because tier 2 space is huge space to lose. That top area is really not going to be safe for Eisen to farm in any longer at that point.
Yeah, there's nothing going on here for Ivory at the moment. There is absolutely zero happening. Bright side, Jonathan, Rupido has actually found the gold for a Blink Dagger pretty early on, so that's good news. Now, we've got to see the impact from this man. This is that point now. Your team's fallen behind. You've got to make some magic happen. He's going to see a Dark Willow. Is he going to go for it? Absolutely. Doesn't get the kill. In fact, they will. Drick will find it. You're going to need a lot more of that, but it's a good start.
And it is. Again, it does feel like they've managed to recover from this earlier committal. They've got Ken. He's got the max out screen pain. So burst damage is there. If you get these 2 blinks onto one target, they will melt. And you are starting to find some play. The lead from Trailer Park Boys, 3K, still meaningful, of course. We're only 13 minutes in. You kind of have to deal with 11 having full blade mail, his own blink, 700 gold away. And that is going to be pretty daunting once he does get initiation angle in. I'm Ken.
They are going to find Ken. Terrorize is going to land, but they don't really have anything else to lock him down. So ultimately, Ken will be perfectly fine to escape. But there are some dragons roaming around the map. They're going to find Drick. Drick will be okay, though there's a bit of a terrifying amount of damage for the supports. Hey, everything's going to be fine, John. Everyone will be just fine.
They will be. Still, for the Trailer Park Boys, what's not going to be fine, Mikey, is that Sanctity's Ags is only about 300 gold away. That's the big spike for the Death Prophet. So much damage on the Exo, so much damage on her right clicks, even just getting follow-through damage from Crypt Swarm. This could be the nightmare scenario if you're not ready for it on the side of Ivory. And for Ivory, yeah, I appreciate they're playing catch-up. You know, they've got the blink, though. They need to try to gun for more. There's a smoke out in Grimm's. Clear out that mid wave. Try to find an angle out. You don't have forward vision. All your wards are really just defensive on your own top jungle, but we need to see some utility on the blink. They've gotten 1 kill. It's a start. You can't just rest on your laurels here because, again, map space is shrinking, and the side of Trailer Park Boys are using that space much more efficiently here. Blink up now for 11 as well. More concerns if you can get the blink call. You've got to play now.
They're going. They're going to find Say. Oh, Say. Yep, they will jump in. Avalanche toss. That'll be another nice, easy one. I mean, maybe you want bigger targets in fairness for a 4-man smoke, but again, I think if you're Ivory, literally any kill right now is probably a good kill. Just take it. As long as Eisen's hitting creeps, you're probably pretty happy.
And you are. I still worry though, because Trailer Park Boys are at the point where they're like, yeah, you know what? We'll hit our own big timings. Again, we've got the Axe Blink. Maybe you can start to hunt now with Narman and 11 looking for someone.
They're going to find Drick in just a second. Like, they don't see him. Drick's going to be okay. 11, not smoked up anymore. Pretty obvious he's around. He'll show on the creep wave, hoping to maybe bait somebody in. 423 is coming, but he's going for Roshan. So it looks like he's just playing a bit of distraction here on the Axe, so his team can go for a quick Roshan attempt. And it is kind of working. Attention focused onto the Axe. Nobody's noticed. Roshan is indeed happening. No exorcism necessary because you have the Aghanim Scepter up on Sanctity. That's not going to be the quickest Roshan, John, but it is still going to be a free Roshan, which is even better.
And it is. I mean, it's a 2-man Rosh. For a 2-man, it's pretty damn good while the rest of your team takes map space. You're getting free farm for a set to build up. You're still getting build up on 11, despite him, again, just wagging his tail up front, acting as bait. You get the freest Rosh I've seen in a long time. Still maintaining that 4K lead. Down bot. Good old Ken.
Ken. Bedlam is out, but it's literally just the Dark Willow. Narman just being a little bit cheeky here, letting Ken know he's safe nowhere on the map right now. As mid lane, they are going to find themselves Rupido on this Tiny. He does have a bit of help coming in, a big Sonic Wave and an escape act out. Sanctity's starting to drop pretty low, but the song is going to be committed. Meanwhile, that Tombstone is still alive. Nobody actually focusing it down. Sanctity's still wanting to chase for more kills, but he's dropping low. Here comes a call though. 11 just in the nick of time. Grims and Ken down. So is Rupido. And ultimately, Sanctity, he won't even lose the Aegis. Classic Death Prophet things.
Yeah. Here it's just obnoxiously tanky right now. And again, your answer in Drow isn't ready. The Ags is almost done. It does look like just a part away now for Eisen, but the Ags alone just doesn't feel like it's going to be enough. The Hurricane Pike at minimum to try to get yourself in and out of these dicey circumstances. We'll lose a tier 2, 1 outer tower left now for the side of Ivory at 18 minutes in. They're still hunting.
Call out. Oh, Eisen. Oh, with the blade mail. Oh, he gets the dunk. Not really, but it's okay. He still gets the kill. Is now 11. They're going to try and at least punish, and they will. But it's a great trade for 11. He'll take that every day of the week. Eisen to go down. not good news if you're Ivory. I mean, it would have been a bit sweeter had he hit the dunk properly, Jonathan, but you know, you gotta try. You know, sometimes you miss it.
Sometimes you do. Doesn't matter. You slow down the Drow in the end. Still gonna be hanging back at 800 away from full ags. So again, some pain points here for Ivory to still rectify. And for the Trailer Park Boys, I mean, you're hitting AC now for 423 sub 20 minutes in. Like full Overlord AC at that time frame. This Lycan is just out of control. Sanctity is going to work into the BKB. Love the Blink on top, like taking Blink priority first, because Blink silences initiation is insanely hard to play against. And you're playing in early on here for Ivory from a position of being behind the network. You won't have anything like a Yules. You won't have any way of dispelling that off. And projectiles near instant when you cast it to like melee range here. Sanctity.
Yeah, Sanctity moving in. Grim's not really too much he can do. He will just have to die in his mid lane. I mean, nowhere safe in the map right now for Ivory. Even as 5, it feels really dangerous. As top, Ken, it's not safe there either, Ken. He'll get called. A big one, in fact. They'll go in for an avalanche toss combination, trying to burst him down. In fact, Sonic Wave is out. Maybe they can get him. Oh, but the dunk!
Oh!
11! He actually makes it. Oh, and Rupido's gonna drop as well. They'll find another. I did not think that Calling Blade was in the threshold, but apparently it was.
Yeah, a little bit surprising that it was, but...
Oh,
you know,
look at this, John. Top lane.
Oh.
Eisen, yeah.
Eisen.
I mean, this is what happens. This is what happens. Escape Act is out. He's still rooted in place. He's just surrounded by creeps, John. There's no escape here for Eisen. Back to Soul Society for him. Meanwhile, Grims is down. Nothing he can do either. Mid lane, have they got another? No, he's just calling creeps, John. They're onto the tier 3 tower. I don't really blame Ivory for too much of this, John. I just think they've got to be very careful in their drafts. Very careful against this kind of team.
That they should be. Then maybe they get a little bit ahead of themselves, playing the shift on the Tiny. But there's no launching point. And the Quap matchup against DP. Like, I get it. On paper, you should be able to poke back, but the DP just does so much now with all the buffs. Maybe now? Still has Aegis, though.
He still has Aegis for 50 seconds. They're going to actually pop Song to give him a chance, but it won't really pan out. See if they can disengage or whether they're just going to start another fight. Aegis, blink away, is going to be there, and in fact, they are looking to retreat. I mean, mid-rack's already taken. Let's say it is going to be sacrificed, but that's fine. In fact, they pop a Sonic Wave for that. But it is what it is. They'll take the kill. Of course, if you are Trailer Park Boys, you are still extremely happy with that one rack's taken. And quite frankly, it might just be time for them to sit back, relax, and wait for the next Roshan.
Yeah, no reason to go too hard, give opportunities back to the side of Ivory. As there is some threat in Eisen with that Ags, you are seeing some of that output come in. The healing reduction is pretty impactful at this point. But, I know, it's just getting scary to play into Trailer Park Boys. They're going to take Tormentor for free, 423, just trying to get that done by himself. Should be able to find it as well. And he's still getting the micro with information. Like, he is such an efficient player. He's been blocking these camps with the Invisible Wolves. He does so much. Takes the Torm solo with his Ancient Creep. Gets a free shard now on your Naga, so additional healing kicks in. Which, again, you're reliant on your Drow to counteract, and you're ready.
They sure are. Bottom lane. Some Drick's going to be left behind. He's trying his best to buy a bit of time here for himself. He'll actually go for a TP play as well, but none of it's going to work out in his favor. Pretty depressing signs here for Ivory so far this game. Not exactly how they would have anticipated their first game of the road to the international qualifiers, but here we are. I don't know how they slow this down, John. I'll be frank. I usually like to try and look for the light at the end of the tunnel here, but I just feel like they've been completely outdrafted at this stage of the game with a 15k net worth. Like, I guess your only hope right now is hold high ground. And at some point, maybe this Drow Quap becomes a problem. Maybe.
And it can. They are being hunted down with a smoke from Trailer Park Boys, but they just hold high ground. Oh, a smoke on smoke. This is now a risk for Ivory. They don't have control of the triangle. They don't have forward vision. They have to be really smart to make that choice whether or not they take this fight.
Oh, look at the position from 11. 11's ready. He moves now. Runs in. He knows there's a drow somewhere. He'll miss out on the drow, though. He'll go straight after Drick instead. Drick should just be getting dunked pretty early on, though he gets the escape back and eventually does die to 11. Meanwhile, Eisen. Oh, no, Eisen. He's trapped up on the staircase. Even without the brambles, the creeps were coming in, John. That's what I'm saying. Like 4-2-3, he's one of those carries. He'll micro everything while he's still playing his own hero in the middle of a fight.
And he is.
There was no escape for Eisen.
No, really no escape for Eisen. No play for the side of Ivory, getting themselves in a little bit of a draft trap. Again, giving away this Death Prophet that has been pretty much a top contest hero, one of the biggest heroes in the meta right now with his Ags Rush, giving out the specialty of 4-2-3 and the Lycan, and flexing themselves in a position of no return. Tiny offlane did nothing here for Rupidok. Mid lane for Ken was just a nightmare, a living nightmare. And I guess the light at the end of the tunnel, Mike, is just the end of the game. You know, just reset, think about the next game, rethink your draft. They do have Paha there, of course, trying to help them out. Teehee, good old Teehee, would Ken always enjoying to use that name, but they need to kind of figure out something else, because maybe they were feeling confident with switch-ups. It does feel like, I think for the side of Ivory, you have to ban out. If you don't have first pick, you have to ban out DP. And if you find yourself at the end with no Lycan control, you have to ban out Lycan. Just, it's 4-2-3. You've seen this for years. You know he's done it since his time on Lil Gun. You can't allow something like that, as the Trailer Park Boys just have an amazing game. It's back to, again, having a stronger draft, but also just executing as a team so well. Like we were talking about this game for Axe on 11 not being amazing. He still makes an amazing game. Like, yeah, his lane against Eisen wasn't too explosive, but he gets the space, he gets the farm, he's getting good calls, and he's setting up for his team. And if you can play Axe into Drow with this kind of lineup, then you know you have a lot of leeway, you have a lot of confidence to just do whatever you want in draft. There's just so many options now for Trailer Park Boys and for Ivory. And they're going to need to try to mentally reset, Mike, because that was a pretty big mental blow here.
It certainly was. See what's going on, but I dare say, I mean, I'm going to say it, John, I'm pretty sure Trailer Park Boys just outdrafted again. Outdrafted the side of Ivory, I should say, and I think you and I both agree on that. I don't really have any doubts towards this Broodmother either. I really don't. I don't have any doubts about the necrotic webs. I don't have any doubts about the spiderlings getting cleaved too much. I don't think he cares. I don't care. I think Ivory are well and truly outdrafted for a second game in a row. Hell, it might even be worse than last time. It could be, John.
It could be.
I mean, last time was pretty bad because there was literally no like encounters. But this is kind of bad.
No. It is also just pretty bad. No, at least I can imagine mid's not going to be as horrific for Ken, where he has to buy back just to get 2 range creeps of EXP. Right. You know, I think we're not in that dire of a strait. He does also manage to break the smoke, so he shouldn't be caught out anytime soon, which should be a relief here, of course, for the side of Ivory. But it's quite fascinating to see this matchup work this way. Okay.
Don't get shackled. Don't get shackled, Ken. Ken. He's strength. He's okay. He's strength. Oh, he's not okay. He's okay, John. He's strength morphing. He's getting there, Ken. Oh, he's all right. He's all right. On the bright side, John, he wouldn't have had to buy back. The respawn timer probably would have been pretty low.
Yeah, and there's no double creep wave to worry about. He's fine. He doesn't have regen though, Mikey. So he's going to have to shuffle around into full agi and try to wand up. But, you know, going for what you usually see on Morphlinks, all the branches and the wand. A little bit of poke action top early, so they were blocking off the creeps. Not getting the full block you want. Not exactly fully under the tower, but still in a nice enough position. As we are still looking at Ken. I mean, I was just saying it shouldn't be as horrific, but he's got to balance it out. Sanctity catches you. When you're full agi, he is going to have reach, especially at level 2. It is worrying. But Ken should know he's Kenough. Have that confidence. Just relax a bit. No need to be too nervous here, Ken.
Don't be nervous, Ken. You're right. Very curious to see as well how this POS 1 Underlord goes for Eisen. Not so often I have the pleasure of casting a POS 1 Underlord, John, as mid lane still very spicy here, but thankfully no level 2 for Sanctity, so he couldn't quite finish off the kill. Now he'll have it up. Meanwhile, bottom, Melodic thrown out onto 11, but he's going to be just fine to just walk away every time. You don't really have the lockdown with Aizen at the moment. And I imagine it should be a pretty even kind of trading lane here at the bottom lane. Not really many kills to come out, I'd expect, unless they find a nice coconut into a Melodic, and maybe even just a Pit of Malice here on 11.
Yeah, can be a little bit annoying. That is the one thing with this lane. Aizen is really tanky. You're not going to be able to poke back on that Broodmother all too hard. And looking for chain stun opportunities with Shaman doesn't really do much here. Okay.
They've got him. Yeah, he's dead. Very nice. That's what I was waiting for. It's a very easy combination to land, like, especially at that low HP. This is the one thing I think that 11 will need to be cautious of, is just don't get trapped in that Pit of Malice, because the Melodic Coconut, it is going to hurt.
And Will and Narman can't do too much to help out. Ken
got
fully
sniped.
Agied.
He got sniped.
All right, at least he doesn't need to buy back. Yeah, not Knuff, but doesn't need to buy back, no double range creeps.
Well, he can't afford it, John. He couldn't afford it that time, John, in fairness.
Good.
He had no gold for the buyback.
Nothing to rush for.
Yeah.
Nothing to rush for on Ken. Just relax. Sanctity, of course, is going to be very pleased with himself finding that. And like you were mentioning again, your saving grace right now for Ivory is that bot lane for the Underlord going quite well. The top lane's been pretty alright for Rupido, to be fair. I mean, he's farming up with Tidebringer. You're not going to be able to try to fully zone out 4-2-3. And there is a lot of healing here with the overprotected whiffs and Nature's Attendants. So a threat onto 4-2-3 doesn't feel feasible either, but you can win out the right-click trade by landing the Tidebringer. I'm a little bit surprised 4-2-3 doesn't opt for the cleave. Did go for just the Warcry to escape from the Stormhammer to create spacing. That is slowing down what could be faster form, but if you can just last it normally, I suppose it's not an issue. You can always just max up as you approach level 5 and kind of start to think about whether or not there are stacks, what you can farm up, build up at that point. Just kind of working the lane already here early on. Again, a little bit better for Ivory in the laning start, I have to admit. Aizen again's having a good time. Ken, and I mean, even with that death, he's finding some... Oh, actually, it's a little bit worse for him, but he didn't buy back. And your top lane for Rupido, he's on a hero that has impact. He's on a Kunkka. Even with stalled out timings, this hero can still do a lot. I like his build that he's queuing up here as well on our Kunkka. Phase boots into Atos. So nothing fancy, no Radiance Rush, not wanting to play greedy. Just wants to play utility to set up for the rest of the team to get the chain control, tie in with that Underlord, and really utilize that durability later on.
I'll say he's being such a nuisance now at that level 3 mark, though. Just like the level 2 enchant, so much bonus damage. It really does start to hurt, as Ken, speaking of hurt, was being chased down by Sanctity, but he is going to be just fine to pick up the water rune. Meanwhile, bottom, it looks like they are going to try for 11, but he's being much more cautious now. Plenty of pings coming out from Grims. They don't see it, though. Meanwhile, top lane, Rupido does also get quite low. Is going to be okay to walk his way out. But again, I mean, you are at the point where Sei is just going to continue to bully you with these enchanted creeps at the level 3 mark. And I mean, Rupido, he is still sustaining himself well enough, but things could get scary as time does go on.
That it is. Again, they're maintaining their lanes well. And for the side of Ivory...
Oh, he might be dead? No, he's not. He's okay.
Really scary poke. I really do appreciate how 4-2-3 is playing. They are playing bot.
They do kill Narman. There'll be a trade, though. 11's going to find the trade on the supports. Grims will go down. The 1-for-1 on the cores here down to the bottom lane. Because every... So 11 is going to be a problem at some stage of the game, and you really don't want to get to that stage if you can avoid it. For now, at the very least, I suppose just Aizen farming is going to be very good news for them, and I'm still curious to see what this carry Underlord does do here, John. I have my doubts, but I'm curious.
Yeah, look, it does a lot of damage, and that's going to be key. It can frontline quite nicely as well. Clear out those creeps, the armies that you're looking for from the Trailer Park Boys. It's just how durable will you feel once those necrotic webs fly out. You have to remember as well, and we didn't really point it out, we just implied it, but in the sub patch, the health change on attribute shift is affected by those necrotic webs. Again, just a perfect Broodmother game. I think that is, again, just something to watch out for later on. And I don't know, like, you can do all you want on the Underlord, but if your Morphling mid can't really play the game he wants to play, then you are asking for trouble still. As that's, you just can't compensate. You do scale nice, but not nice enough. Still, 11.
Well, they do find 11. That's a very nice kill once again for Eisen. I'll be very, very happy seeing the Spider die. Happy days once again here for Ivory. Again, off to a fantastic start for this bottom lane. Eisen is top of the CS right now. He really couldn't have asked for a better laning stage for himself. Meanwhile, even mid lane, Ken started forcing in the mid tier 1 tower. We'll get a glyph out. It seems like Sanctity had tried to rotate down bottom. Does decide he does need to come back into the mid lane, which is fair enough. Top, they are going to throw an X-Torrent out onto our Sven. In fact, they've got a rotation out from Grims, and that will be... Going again. In fact, it was on Ken. He's going to be just fine.
Gonna be able to hold this on. A nice set of kills coming out here for Ivory, getting that early aggression lined up. And for the Trailer Park boys, it's at this moment where you're kind of weak, right? I'm a little bit surprised 423 again is just hanging on to the skill points at level 5, only going for the level 2 Stormhammer and the 1 point in Warcry. Still not investing in the cleave, holding back, maybe a little bit concerned of, say, an eventual shift from Ken, just cleaving right through them as well. And look at the aggression from Ivory though. Grim still hanging around top, at the least is spotted out by Se. They're not able to fully line up, but you are getting a stronger start once more for Ivory. Like, this is a stronger showing. You've got good pacing out from Eisen, already maxing out that atrophy aura, so early damage is just cut off by a severe amount now when the Underlord shows up. Eventually, the threat of Fiend's Gate will be there as well, so you get the value point here for Eisen. The Mask of Madness and Echo Saber, it does look like going to be timely here for Eisen as well, as they are still keeping that pressure up top. Again, they've got the levels coming up, and they do have that early tempo. A bit of a rotation bot here, though.
Right onto Eisen. They've got a good kind of angle at him as well. Eisen, not many ways out of this one. That's a pretty important rotation now for Trailer Park boys to make, as Eisen, he was pulling a little bit too far ahead on that Positive Underlord. But very nice. Naturally, that opens up a bit of space now for 11 to the bottom tier 1 tower.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And start to eat some space up now as the Broodmother. They have had a lot of room still to poke onto mid, but not quite enough to really commit onto the objective. Again, your siege does rely on a little bit of a clump up out from Ivory, and once this Broodmother gets comfy, that's where the danger lies. Like, yeah, you have ways of clearing out the Spiderlings like we mentioned, but just even eating out these camps, forcing someone to constantly stay in that lane, buy space out for the rest of your team, ensures that this big clump up might not come out as fast as you'd want here. For the side of Ivory, does wonders already. Still not able to relieve that pressure up top though, just not focusing on Broodmother whatsoever. And this is the right way to go. Just make this game uncomfy for 423. So we'll find another one here.
He should say. He has the wisps going, so it's actually not too much damage being thrown out onto the Ancient. Yeah, he's just going to be fine. Overprotective wisps, he takes literally no damage. Meanwhile, bottom, Eisen forced to deny off the tier 1 tower is 11. Does just do too much damage. There's that stage as well where 11 is going to try and start taking over this bottom side, but Eisen going to be trying to take as many creeps as he can with that big cleave he does have. Though it's not really proving to be that effective yet.
Not quite. Does feel a little bit lacking what I would say follow-through control. Either a Harpoon or an Atos we tend to see will be necessary as a carry. Likely just a Harpoon option here. Somehow on the side of Trailer Park boys are also stalling out top.
11's gone for a man fight here with the Insatiable Hunger. It's like he's actually going to kind of win it out as Eisen is forced to retreat, and nobody's rotating at all to try and deal with this Broodmother down bottom. Looks like their focus is just going to be set on trying to take down that top tier 1 tower. But it is a pretty slow process at the moment.
And it is. Again, you're doing a great job on set to just stall this out by yourself. The healing he has, that's slow, and the untouchable, it's just a little bit too much. They're not able to drag Ken up top yet as well to try to play. And it is getting tough. Also, the one big reason why 11 is just willing to man fight, he does have the max out spin web. So health restoration, again, that affects lifesteal as well. Your Mask of Madness is actually not doing as much to sustain true here for Eisen, for anyone that has to match up against a Brood.
Yeah, speaking of the devil, I think they found him. Eisen gonna get locked down, Hex out, Shackle out, everything being thrown but the kitchen sink, and that's another nice kill. Eisen dying a second time this game. Not going to be feeling too happy about that. I mean, the thing is as well, like, there's no vision here from the Radiant side. Like, he's completely blind down in this bottom lane. And that's another kill on Eisen where we haven't really seen any rotations being made to try and help out.
Yeah, the mindset in Ivory is likely just giving Ken the priority farm, right? Like, Ken is the actual +1. They're playing as basically just an ultra-farmed off-lane Underlord here. You're using 2 off-lanes, no real mid, and just a win condition on your mid instead. Which is nice, but Ken?
Well, they got the Hex out, but he was strength morphing at the time. Bit of chip damage onto that mid-tier 1 tower, but Ken doing a very good job of pushing it out as now Say. Overwhelming heals coming out with these overprotective wisps here, John. He's just not going to be dying to any of this Death Ward damage, and well, at least they do get the mid tier, around the top tier 1.
Ken?
Meanwhile, mid, Ken barely survives on the Morphling. Meanwhile, our Shaman getting a bit too deep. Nama does go down, and so will Sanctity, as Ken does survive the gank attempt. And well, there's something Trailer Park Boys need to be careful about. You have Eisen there with the Fiend's Gate. He was able to get there this time around.
And finally gets the value point, starts to join his team for early activity. Do want to point out, Grims did go for Cleft Death on the Witch Doctor, and you are seeing the effect of that. It's not enough solo burst damage on even just an Enchantress with the Death Ward because of that half damage output. Can be nicer in the team fights, maybe help you dig through, say, the Broodlings, the Spiderlings as well down the line, especially if you get Ags somehow here on your Witch Doctor, which is a very late game item, of course, for the hero. But again, solo pickoffs just not going to be as clean for Grims, at least until more items flow, which is going to be a tough one for the Witch Doctor. 6-4 start. Ivory getting off into game 2 much better than game 1. And they've had a stronger foothold in lane. They're getting that build up. All their cores are top right now in net worth, not by a huge margin, as it's less around a 1 to 2k lead right now for Ivory. So not big enough to really take advantage yet, but enough to actually play the game early here. He's not healing. It's not. No, that's level 3 Voodoo Restoration. It's doing nothing. You're just burning mana.
It does nothing. Literally nothing. How amazing is that? Oh, on the bright side, Ivory, like, not only having a better start job, but they're well and truly ahead on these cores. Well, right now, Ivory definitely winning the game, but here comes a big push in the mid-tier 1 tower now by Trailer Park Boys. Let's see if they can actually set up on Ken, and this time they will not, but they do reveal the Orchid build-up on 11. What of Atos to lock 11 down, both to fly in with the Will of Wonder as well. They just want to try and blow him up, and it looks like they've got him. 11 completely destroyed. They will lose the mid-tier 1 tower, but they won't mind it too much. They'll also take down Say with him. Nice set of kills now for the side of Ivory.
And it is. They're finally getting the punishment out onto Trailer Park Boys. Again, keeping up for that big power spike they have. This Atos pickup on Rupido, maybe catching them a little bit by surprise, but the single target setup they have is amazing now on the side of Ivory. And for Trailer Park Boys, it's a matter of waiting, because most of your damage isn't online yet. It's a play poke on Sanctity.
Well, Sanctity kind of showed up there, not anticipating that there would be 4 heroes waiting for him to clear out the creep wave, but there was another big kill now for the side of Ivory. I'll tell you what, that cleave from Eisen was just looking absolutely huge at this point. It's massive.
It is. Yeah, look at that. Again, it is a very decent pause 1, especially you have that kind of laning start here for Eisen. Even though he's died a couple of times, you are still farming like a maniac, and this is what you have to do now in Ivory. They're pressuring top. They've almost got the Manta up on Ken. They know they're tanky enough to sit through, and there's no damage threat here. Chase down Say a little bit, but not really much of a defense. TPs are coming in.
Ivory's doing a pretty good job so far, but it looks like they're going to leave their Kunka behind. Nice tame the beasts out. Is it going to help? It does not. Rupido is going to go down. They will at least drag Drick out of there, and everybody else looks just fine. And Ivory's still, again, well and truly in the lead of this game. I mean, they're doing just fantastic work of completely avoiding the side of Trailer Park Boys and just taking objectives while finding all the farm in the world for Eisen and Ken, who are both still sitting at the top of the net worth board. Like, you still have not seen 423 catch up with the Sven yet. He's getting closer, but he's still not at that stage where you can really depend on him to be that big carry you're looking for.
Now, you need to wait a lot longer. A BKB has to come out here for the Sven. Just a lot of kiting can come out with all of the control you have here on Ivory. Ivory, for their part, already digging into that Roche. They've got the damage, of course, with Ken. You can even see the cleave coming out from Eisen across the map. It's just so dumb. That's 312 damage for himself. And again, this Roche is not going to take too long. Secondary life now ready for Ken. So you are, again, feeling nice and happy now on Ivory. Down mid.
Gonna find Say. Beans gate in. For fashionable purposes, is they're gonna drop everything. Ensure Say does go down. Very, very nice once again. Now the Aegis up as well on Ken. Gonna make things very challenging for Trailer Park Boys as they find themselves 4K behind. I imagine the mid-tier 2 tower is going to be the objective that Ivory looked to take. But not at this stage, it seems, as they will mostly retreat. It is just Rupido on the supports left in the mid lane, hoping Sanctity shows his face again. And he might just, in fact he does, Rod of Atos to lock him down. Torrent to fly in with the boat and the Will of Wonder. He'll bring TPs in this time. In fact, they might be trading a lot of heroes here. It's a big stun out from our 423, but it won't matter too much if they can't kill anyone. 423 still chasing, but nobody will die. Narman, we'll get a Hex at the end, but it doesn't really matter anymore. Another nice kill out from the side of Ivory, and Trailer Park Boys, they find no punishment.
No. They're getting choked out now. 6K lead, much more impactful coming out here for Ivory, getting a lot of usage out from the Aegis so far as Narman.
Should be dead. And he certainly will be. Another great kill coming out now from Ivory. James, look at that, that damn claim. You just see it from a mile away. And so for Trailer Park Boys, they are well and truly falling apart here in this game too, Jonathan.
Yeah, and they need more time. This Sven is just not ready. That's really the big, great weakness they have. Their main source of damage needs a BKB. Probably needs a Harpoon along with a Blink, because the Blink alone just hasn't been cutting it. So it's just a lot of time you have to wait. The BKB will come out. Maybe that simplifies the chase, but then almost feels like you need a Harpoon as well as Sanctity.
Sanctity again. No Rolling Thunder to come out. Got cancelled, and now Ken's onto the T3 tower. Oh, Ivory, they came into game 2 with a point to prove, apparently. It's onto the T3 at 19.5 minutes, faster than Trailer Park Boys did it in game 1.
Yeah.
Jeez.
They're just too tanky right now. I mean, we were talking about this healing reduction coming in. 11's not confident to come up without the BKB. Racks taken, at least just the melee racks here. Range racks going to reset with backdoor. They did manage to cut the creep waves off, but very quick progression now coming out for the side of Ivory. And for the side of Trailer Park Boys, they have to stem the bleeding somehow.
Walker's going to make it a little bit hard for Rupido to follow up with that Rod of Atos setup. I don't know what you do now as Trailer Park Boys. They've just fallen too far behind, and well, Ivory pleasantly surprising me with this draft, John. I wasn't quite anticipating them to be this dominant, but fantastic work from Ivory. Down to the bot lane now they'll go. They'll have a look for 11, and they'll find him too. 11. He'll reveal himself down to that bottom lane. This time they'll wait till they get the X off, and no doubt 11 will not be leaving anytime soon. He's gone. Another good one here for the side of Ivory, and I mean, they've got time if they want to get to the high ground again before that Aegis expires. That's massive.
Yeah, still a big window. Minute 20 left for Ken. And the key thing that's just ripping apart Trailer Park Boys is that they're not able to really fight against this massive clump up. You're constantly moving as 3+1 because of that Fiend's Gate here on the side of Ivory. Again, they have such great single target control. The BKBs aren't flying out fast enough. On Trailer Park Boys, they are going for a smoke, but they get the wrong read. It's bot being shoved in. No one's looking to correct on mid. And you still lack that BKB here for 4-2-3. Need more tools to come out. Just not ready. It has to be the stall game for as long as you can. And just try to hit that double BKB timing that you're so desperately working towards. The side of Ivory, though, again, they just don't let you rest. Instant smoke out again, just constantly on the hunt. They know how strong they are. And they're not going to test stuff by waiting out.
Mid lane. Now moving in once again onto 11. And this Broodmother, she just can't sustain herself. It's just too much. Oh my goodness. Down to the bottom lane they'll go. And that is going to be very quick work for the side of Ivory. As this game, it looks well and truly over. Ivory just completely annihilating them here.
Set.
They find more, say. Also getting caught out. Eventually he should be falling here, and they've got him. Another great one.
Yeah, BKB is still a ways off. Maybe you sold something here. 4-4-2-3, not enough. Selling out the circlet. So again, you're just looking at the entire high ground disappearing. Full butterfly for Ken. They need to do something.
They'll jump in again. They're going to move on to Sanctity straight off the bat. Sanctity in trouble. It's like Naaman going to barely survive the Kunkka. Big stun in though from 4-2-3. He'll take down Grims, but Eisen's got Naaman. 4-2-3 still trying somewhere with this. Is Eisen just dealing with everybody else in the back. The Sven still getting kited here by Rupido. It's now Sanctity. Eisen to get back in there, and now with the Pit of Malice, they'll move on to the Sven, and GG is called. Oh, Ivory, they return the even faster than Trailer Park Boys did in game one.
That they do.
Believe me, it didn't work out, John. It didn't work out, right? Maybe that time I was wrong. Anyway, he has gone for the other facet, which is pretty interesting. Why? I don't know. But he's done it.
Oh, this is I know. I want to see if this works on set. I don't know if you're gonna itemize for it. Chances are you won't. Maybe you feel comfy enough with just Holy Locket as healing increase, which is fine. It might be overkill with Holy Locket plus Reign of Destiny. Their smokes do not break as they dance around each other. Very tight window there. Jeez.
Very close indeed. Looks like they will see Ken. They won't reveal themselves to Ken yet. It's just Sanctity trying to bait the side of Ivory in. Ivory's still searching through the bottom side of the map, trying to find anybody, hoping that they'll run into a carry, but they don't. Now the turnaround, they're going to actually meet in the high ground very soon, but a nice ward placement is going to see Naaman. So they know the Tusk is there. They're still smoked up. Now here comes 4-2-3, but he'll see them. He won't get caught. In come the cavalry. Naaman's here now. He's got shards up. They'll go after Grims. We'll see if they can find first blood before they get first blooded. So we do get the pause. So nice avalanche. There is still a skill to be leveled up here for Drick. I imagine that will be Shackles. They're going to maybe aim for this Tusk, I think. And they've got him by the looks of it. Naaman trying to run. They went Ether Shock instead of Shackles, though, so Naaman's actually going to survive. Drick will continue chasing. Oh, the Empowerment Arts! Oh, that's unfortunate. Grims gets it. Very nice first blood draw here for Ivory. And what can you do for Trailer Park Boys? They sadly miss out with I want to say a very unfortunate pause.
And it was. The Ether Shock doing some work, actually, giving enough damage for that cleanup. And you're going to be nice and happy here on Ivory. You start with 3-1 on the bounties as well. You get that extra bit of gold. Early gold on a Ringmaster is not to be underestimated. Like, fast boots can actually be quite fearsome, as he can weave in and out, line up the impalement parts a little bit easier. Let's see if that affects it down the line. Taking a look at that bot lane first. For Rupido up against a Terrorblade. at least you have some setup, right? Like you've got the chicken fingers, you can set up with a free hex into maybe an avalanche tossback. You can harass out a little bit more. Rupido was forced to take level 1 avalanche because of that aggressive smoke. So he doesn't have the tree grab. He doesn't have a way of just shoving back the creep wave. That is giving a little bit more value here for 4-2-3 to just work that lane. But this should otherwise be a pretty unremarkable lane. There's some good kill opportunities on both sides. You do have good save, though, on Se, especially once he has the Fate's Edict up, as you are reliant on magic damage to try to burst here early. So 4-2-3 shouldn't be too exposed as level 3 starts to get approached up. It's not an amazing game for Reflection, to be fair. So chances are 4-2-3 will actually just go for a full farm build with Metamorphosis and Conjure Image and not even bother with a Reflection value point. We'll see. So far, that is holding true. Mid lane, again, with that extra bit of gold here for Ken, and with the Obs Ward takedown as well, already has the bottle, can start to get even more utility out onto the lane. A little bit of a slower time for Sanctity, and that's to be expected. You picked the Pango early, you didn't ban Puck. Puck almost always, at the worst case scenario, draws even in a lane. In most cases, though, it gets ahead. There's not really much you can do on a Pangolier to make this any tougher for Ken. So after, again, that horrific game 1, Ken has bounced back in strong form. His Morphling was great last game. I'd expect the same things from his Puck. Highly mobile, not easy to pin down with the draft you have from Trailer Park Boys. And this laning start for Ken, lining up to just be in complete cruise control so far here.
Absolutely. Very close call for Grims up the top lane. He barely managed to get away from a pretty dire situation with the Whoopee Cushion. So props to him from being able to get out of a pretty sticky situation here against the 11 and of course Narman. So Narman's going to start with the creep pools as well. So no real threat up at this top lane apart from maybe for Grims if he gets caught in an awkward shards into a spear back. Apart from that, it seems like everyone else is going to remain relatively fine. Till now, I'm wondering why we went Clairvoyant Curse on Say, because he hasn't. I mean, I realize you want to hit level 3 on Oracle before you get too aggressive with these spells, but he hasn't really maximized spell usage too much yet. Maybe at level 3 we'll see why. Though it's it's not really that much, Sean. It's 3% of an improvement, you know?
No. Yeah, it really isn't much to speak of in comparison to getting some healing amplification out. I guess you really start to feel that by level 10, but at that point as well, everyone's so tanky that it might not be as much of a threat. Maybe to clean up some kills could simplify. Could be the mindset here, as again, maybe they just feel like you're getting too much healing amplification anyway if you go Holy Locket, so you can kind of just focus on some free damage to help clean up. We shall see. So far, the laning start for Ivory across every lane has looked fantastic. Ken's just, again, having a free time mid. Rupido is able to survive and just farm, which is a really good call compared to last game. And they do get punishment up top here, though.
Yeah, it was a pretty easy God's Rebuke. Grim's just kind of trapped in the middle of it. Nice pick up again. And that's the one thing for Grims. Like, he is the one guy they can kill right now. Like, the chances are they're not going to kill Eisen on the DK. So every single time they can land a nice shards onto Grims, they'll take it. How's that mid lane? I mean, mid lane's been pretty even. It seems like Ken has still pulled ahead on the park. 27-3 compared to the 21-0 of Sanctity. So it seems like a pretty great mid lane again here from Ken.
Yeah. And with Puck, you're just on cruise control. He'd had a very early advantage. I think by the second, third creep wave, it started to pull ahead, what you'd expect for this hero. Maybe diving a little bit into the tower, but just forcing out that Puckish. Getting free regen, very smart for Ken, just to maintain. This hero is such a menace. And again, as this game goes on, you don't have easy control for the Puck. You have no instant hex. You have no instant way of just pinning him down. A lot of windows of opportunity here for Ken to play his game later on. And just not much Trailer Park Boys can do unless you get the roots out. Trying not to Rupido here.
Shard's way off the mark there from Narman. And very nice toss back from Rupido to completely avoid the gank attempt. Props to him surviving this time around where it really felt like he shouldn't have. And will that also be Metamorphosis kind of committed for this? Not that 4-3 minds too much, you know, you farm with it anyway, but would have liked to secure the kill if you could. As it seems like they'll rotate mid. 6-minute power runes now spawning up. Bit of a fight to break out those. They have found themselves a Shadow Shaman. And that'll be Drick eventually set to fall, and Sanctity will be able to take it, as well as pick up the shield rune for himself.
Nice little rune to have. At least they snipe out Sanctity's courier. So a little bit rougher for the Pangolier, not quite getting his boots out. Just a little bit more for the puck to play around with. And again, it's not the biggest kill. You did need a little bit of an injection out from the Trailer Park Boys. Take what you can get. I'm wondering if there's going to be some aggression towards the Shrines of Wisdom. Grimm's already setting up with Watcher. They could try to make that move in later on, but doesn't really stay there for the full time and is spotted out. So it could be another freebie for Trailer Park Boys.
Well, they've got 11 coming in. You've got Ken there to help out. Coil will be committed, but there is a Rolling Thunder now flying through from Sanctity, trying to find this puck, and he has found him in a very awkward scenario now. Ken still going to be okay to retreat, though, by the looks of it. Somehow, Grimms was still alive throughout all of that, but he finally goes down. And ultimately, pretty even trade between the two teams. Not really much too much to write home about. It's just supports dying right now. We might finally see a core die as Eisen. Let's get chased down. Tag team activated here from Narman, though they do land a Dragon Tail before he does get stunned, but it doesn't really feel like it's going to matter too much. Although, here comes Grimms, and in fact, it does matter. Eisen, way too tanky apparently.
And he is. There's not enough damage flying out there. Even with that little window, if you found it, I don't think you would have had enough. If you had level 3 Purifying Flames, perhaps a different story, as they do manage to secure the Shrine of Wisdom now. You do have that extra magic damage, but you kind of miss out that chance. Regen's already kicking in for Eisen. A little bit of that siege onto the top tier 1. Again, a strength of this draft is just that siege potential. You've got the dragon form. Eventually, you'll have the serpent ward as well. And that's just going to lead to a lot of early objectives lost if you're not quite ready for the fights here on Trailer Park Boys. The one big blessing for them, you've been getting some pretty good farm out from 423. Rupido's been playing poke, sure, but not really able to stop the Terrorblade by too big of a factor. So you're losing some ground, but your Terrorblade is still farming. You kind of still have to keep stalling out for this hero as, again, this time around for Ivory, they're having a pretty decent time for Rupido. He's maintaining slight net worth lead over that Terrorblade. You're getting early activity out from Ken, who is just near impossible to pin down. This puck is just always going to be a torn on your side. And they do maintain really strong farm still for Eisen. Perhaps now, a little bit of a rotation out. Smoke with haste for Ken.
He's heading down bottom. Wants to find something nice. Metamorphosis is actually popped here by 423s. They were trying to chase Rupido, but he makes it out again. Here comes that coil. They'll throw it right onto the tusk. Ensure Rupido does make it out, and now look towards 423, who's currently chasing Grimms down. Grimms actually surviving, but will finally drop to the Rolling Thunder as they will continue chasing the Terrorblade. There's no Sunder on 423 to speak of, but they do have the Oracle nearby, so he's going to remain somewhat safe. They'll continue the chase, though. Can he survive? No, he cannot. They'll get the toss on him, and he will drop. Very nice. Eventually, they will get what they came for in Eisen.
You don't mind trading 2 supports out for that either here for the side of Ivory. You're getting some good activity from Rupido with that connection down bot. And you are just seeing the issues. It's so hard to pin down the puck. The damage isn't overwhelming yet, but just the mobility out from Ken is ripping through and making it hard for you to find these fights. And that's from an unideal Dream Coil only onto 1 on a support. They still managed to work it. Once that blink is up and Rupido, it does become a lot easier to follow through on Ken to look for the actual targets. Got some room now to poke on mid. There is time for the defense. Trailer Park Boys are clumping pretty heavily here as well. But their initiation isn't quite there. They don't have the roll from Sanctity. Trying to force something out is a lot more difficult. They are buying space out for 11 to work onto a very fast blink at least. And again, that's also key for Trailer Park Boys to finally find some jump in to try to follow through from Sanctity, as it does feel like there's not much coming out with the roll at the moment, as you just don't have the follow-through control as well on the side of Trailer Park Boys. Still, the threat on map space is just a little bit concerning for the side of Trailer Park Boys, because again, just one little shove from the DK, one little shove, a very non-committal shove from your Shaman, and map space just disappears. Once mid falls, the triangle, it's not going to be as secure. You need to be able to clear those stacks out ASAP. You do have heroes to get that done. But, you know, you have to watch when that commitment does come in on mid, as You do need that catch-up form right now on the side of the Trailer Park Boys. You aren't making any moves yet to try to clear it out. It's not the biggest set of stacks, mind you, but every single source of gold does count right now, with a slight deficit towards the side of Ivory at the moment.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
There's going to be a big smoke up. 3-man smoke now committed from Trailer Park Boys. They're looking to maybe connect mid. Ken, he's on the wrong side of this. Coil will come out, but they've got the stuns and they've got Ken down. That's a massive pick now. It's a TP attempt. There's a beautiful shards block here by Narman, and Drick trying for the TP. No chance in hell of that happening though, as now they move into the mid lane, finding even Grims. Triple kill for 4-2-3. And that's really bad news if you're an Ivory fan.
And it is great smoke play from the side of Trailer Park Boys. They didn't expect that movement across. I think there's a lot of confidence out from Ken. Used the orb early just to scout into the back, try to poke the camps, get some farm, but ends up in a very tight spot where if the control does connect on Trailer Park Boys, you can burst down that puck. You are seeing some of that spell amp kick in from said. Those Purifying Flames do hurt. With the 7% spell amp he has, it's not a very indecent amount of damage to throw out, especially at this point in the game where, you know, there's no early magic res to speak of. Still smoke out from Ivory. They do have that fresh blink on Rupido and start to apply some pressure here. Would want some bigger targets, and lines were drawn towards south. Only Narman showing. Really would want some cores to fall with this reveal here from Rupido if at all possible.
Narman's moving in. They might find, or rather they might find Narman. Rupido, he will blink in for the Avalanche Toss combination, and Narman, it's actually pretty tanky considering he copped the whole combo, but ultimately he will still die. Nice sort of pick up here with the setup of the Tiny. Of course, they did find the bottom tier 1 tower as well here with Eisen, so objectives taken to boot. Do they want to look for more? I imagine the answer is probably yes. It's kind of the thing with these core Tinies, like, you don't really want to you don't want to slow down. That's kind of the thing. I just feel like you need to keep going.
Yeah. Keep hunting. Find a freebie on mid, finally cleaning up. They still hold on to the Mass Serpent boards as well. So now they can try to commit it for a fight. Mass TP's top.
Now they got a nice Mars pick off here by the looks of it. Drake setting up very nicely and even secures the kill on him for himself. So happy days. Oh, Ivory really giving it back to the way of Trailer Park Boys now. So far, so good. 2k advantage now for Ivory.
They're in a very comfy position. For Trailer Park Boys, it's a matter of waiting. A bit of a freebie, I suppose. Although maybe not
yet. It's definitely not going to be free. Wheel of Wonder down. He actually makes it out. False promise being placed on Sanctity, but he's taken a bit too much damage, I think. They'll keep trying to heal him up through it. In fact, it's not too much damage. He will survive. They'll break the coil. In fact, no, they won't. Arena down. Ken's the one to drop. Somehow Sanctity makes it. He'll turn back as well. Oh, how does he make it out of that? And it ends up being a double kill for 4-2-3 of all people. How unfortunate for Ivory.
Not the way you'd expect that to go. Trailer Park Boys for a long time just didn't feel like they had enough damage, but they get the connections. It stalled out so long. And good usage out from False Promise. Se was in a pretty sick spot there. Playing along the Roche pit, out of vision, getting some heals off, managing to keep Sanctity alive. Now they're making moves onto 4-2-3. Just a tad bit of poking onto that Terrorblade. Not enough of a threat from the puck solo. But again, like we were talking about from the draft, you've got to find that Oracle. If the saves come in, you're reliant on magic damage early on. He didn't even get like the best Fate's Edict. He used it on himself to survive. But it was worthwhile because he did get that False Promise later on. So, Ivory, they've got to set their sights onto that Oracle. They've got to be able to focus in. It was a little bit scattered of them to come in. Their damage was kind of spread apart. Needed to really lock in onto one.
They found 11 here in the Mars. 11, he's got help though from Say, so it's basically impossible to kill him. So Fate's Edict is more than enough to allow him to walk away from that. That'll be enough for Ivory. They've seen enough here in the mid lane, it seems. Wrapping around towards the top lane through the Radiant Triangle. I mean, they could slowly move towards 4-2-3, but they haven't really got vision on the Terrorblade at the moment, so they don't really know he's there.
Radiant are scanning.
That is one thing they're lacking. I mean, even just a triangle ward at this point would help their cause. Not really able to get it out. Really good defensive wards, though, from Trailer Park Boys. Does spot their movement across the river. So they're just able to hug a little bit closer together, hide in the tree line, use Sanctity as bait. They know how tanky this Pangolier is. And they don't have to take that aggression themselves. Again, a slower game, but a Terrorblade does tend to favor the Terrorblade team because of that build-up. I don't think you feel too bad, though, on Ivory. Again, maybe Rupido does. Like you mentioned, the Tiny does feel like it needs to keep that aggression going. But your scaling isn't to be underestimated either. With a DK, with a puck, there's still a lot of opportunities to grow. Trailer Park Boys will go out with that smoke. See if they can start to work an angle out. Bot lane is pretty juicy. There is still the tier 1 to protect, though, and that can make it a little bit complicated in trying to cut through here to find the bigger kill. And that's going to be enough to just back them off. But unfortunate that, again, they haven't been able to commit the resources to shove in with Aizen just yet. Maybe the long swing back to mid. It's a really prolonged rotation.
Oh, they're going to find Rupido, though. Nice blink away. Quick thinking here from Rupido. Quick reactions and quick laugh on the way out as well. There's still a big group up here mid. It doesn't seem like Trailer Park Boys are intending on backing off anytime soon. Mind you, they're making this move right after Aizen's purchased the blink, and you've also got the Yule Scepter on Rupido now, so it could be a pretty nice opportunity for Ivory to force a fight. They will group up and go for a 5-man smoke. And get with the blink set up from Aizen, it could be a lot easier of a fight. So they will jump in now onto Sanctity straight off the bat. Find the Pango. The Fate's Edict, though, going to make it hard to burst him down once again. He's actually going to survive through all of it. The Snowball to buy him a bit of space to boot. Say will go down, but it's at a pretty good cost as they will find Aizen. Aizen's down. Drick in trouble. Drick will drop to boot. Oh, these oracles, man, they make it so hard. Like, he didn't even pop False Promise that time, John.
No.
He literally just applied Fate's Edict with a heal, and they couldn't kill him.
Yeah. I mean, that's where we're at right now. That's the complete gameplay of Ivory. It's all about that magical burst jump in with Tiny and Puck. Your physical output on your DK is not amazing yet. Even his right clicks are a little bit reliant on Mjolnir procs to really find a kill, which, again, Fate's Edict just works perfectly against. They need more time to kind of scale up Fizz, and they really just need to jump the back line. Good clump up, good read out from the Trailer Park Boys.
Oopsies. Does he get the blink? He does. He's still sticking around here at the top lane, but they don't see him that time, and I guess he's got to stay around because they want to defend the top tier 1 tower. Surprisingly enough, they are still holding on to this tier 1.
Like, they do manage to get through the gate. This is a 5-on-3, 5-on-4 here. You're not
Snowball in. Avalanche Toss was committed. They should have the Tusk, and they will take down Narman. A big Dream Call as well to ensure they can't keep going. Seems like Drick will get spotted, but he gets a Shackle at 11 before he does get stunned. A nice Avalanche as well here from Rupido. On a 3 is now Aizen's going to show up. Stuns up the TB, wants the Oracle kill. False Promise is available if he wants to buy time, but he will not. He'll drop as now Sanctity will also go down. A very prolonged team fight here from Ivory, but they just keep juking and jiving, and eventually they buy enough time for the whole squad to be here.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Trailer Park Boys not finding the angle true. Maybe not even focusing on a tier 1 first. Getting that piece of control out of the way, being able to cut through the tree line safer would have been nice. Big Tormentor take now for the side of Ivory as well. A freebie shard out for Drick. So now the foul play is even more annoying to go run into. Not the most annoying shard, I suppose, possible, but still impactful enough. I think you might have preferred, Grims has his own. Bought out for the spotlight. Just wants to take care of those Terrorblade illusions. So the split play from 4-2-3 is not going to be as terrifying. I think that just takes a huge bite from the DPS of 4-2-3 in the middle of these fights as well. And you do maintain that 6k lead on Ivory. For Trailer Park Boys, the initiation has to be specific. It almost feels like they play better as counter initiation, where Se can just stick onto the piece of bait up front. Again, just toss that Fate's Edict out, hold on to the False Promise, and just get the turnaround. It feels easier to play that style at the moment in comparison to how initiation's been going for Trailer Park Boys, because the smokes haven't been panning out. Again, that forced movement up top didn't pay off. And it might just be time to consider a little bit more of passive play. Wait for more scaling to come in here from 4-2-3. The Orchid isn't too far off here for our Terror Blade. That's going to be a key piece of control in, say, pinning down someone like Ken on the puck. They're still holding top.
We'll jump in. Well, they got, it's going to be 4-2-3 they're attempting, but the Fate's Edict again making life very hard, so they'll try to jump the Oracle instead. He's still got a bit of time with that False Promise if he wants to commit, but he'll hold. In fact, he already committed it. 4-2-3. Going to be able to run out, though. A nice toss back. Rupido does catch him. Arena down, but the spear's way off the mark. And this looks like a horrible fight now for Trailer Park Boys. They just need to run. The fight is well and truly over. 11 to drop to boot. Oh my. I mean, this time around, I've got to give props. Rupido doing fantastic work on the Tiny. Now, these tossbacks making life very hard for Trailer Park Boys. And that arena, I mean, it was pretty rough. Like, the spear just went absolutely nowhere.
And it did. I'm surprised Trailer Park Boys aren't clumping up in a cleaner way. Again, this is... part of that idea did come out. They were using Terrorblade as bait. You had your Oracle hanging in the right spot, but you didn't have the follow-through. Right? Sanctity doesn't show up. There's no roll, or isn't able to really commit it there. The arena does fall flat this time. It has to be on point. And again, it's just the angles you need to find here in Trailer Park Boys Fields. A little bit more all in, a little bit more difficult to find. Whereas for Ivory, you can bank on just one good blink throw, blink toss out, and that repositional play alone is a big enough threat to give you control here. As Narman,
jump in. They're gonna find Narman. Should be an easy one here for Ken, who has been on a bit of a streak here on this park. Doing fantastic work here, Ken. Mid lane, there is a big smoke up. About to be broken onto Grims. They will find at least the Ringmaster, but the escape act is going to make life a little bit challenging. And now Eisen's actually jumped in.
Oh.
So they're going to have to give up 11 for that kill. As now they're rolling Thunder. Catching Rupido, but he has the Yule Scepter to buy himself a bit of time. But here comes 4-2-3 now with the damage output. Eisen, though, with a man fight. Oh, when he's got him. Trailer Park Boys losing out on every fight, it feels like. Because now the damage output and the tankability of this dire side, it's just proving to be a bit too much.
It is, and again, that's Trailer Park Boys taking initiative once more. It just doesn't feel like them initiating is really panning out to too much, and that was already a very split up circumstance for Ivory. Right? You know the puck wasn't there. You knew Ken was hunting down bot, trying that freebie on Narman earlier. And that should be a much freer time, but they're not able to really get the initiation you want. I don't know what you can do right now on Trailer Park Boys. Again, it does feel easier to go for the counter initiate. It just takes so long to kill off even Grims. And you get that good flank on the high ground out from Eisen. With the BKB, there's just no threat. And you look at the target identification here for Eisen. He doesn't even focus on the 4-2-3. They kill off Seth first. They isolate away to Terrorblade, and he just can't play solo. And this hero cannot exist in the vacuum up against the draft you have here on the side of Ivory. He doesn't want to have to go for BKB either. Is just trying to rush into that Scotty for more stats, but with only one piece of counter control when the Oracle dies, it's going to be a rough game for 4-2-3 and protect Seh. And for Seh, it's not a very farmed up Oracle game. There's no blink. He only has the Glimmer to hope for. He can't really hang as far back as he'd normally want. If he does drop the Edict, as we've seen in a couple of the fights, he will die and is forced to use an earlier False Promise than you'd like to here. So just a lot of issues stemming off from, again, kind of missing some opportunities, missing out on just some tempo here that... Oh.
Ken. Jump in again. They're going to find the puck this time, though. It's a big target, and Ken is gone. Okay, that's a big one That's a little bit problematic. I think Ken's one of the heroes you really can't afford to be seeing get lost here. And suddenly Ivory, they're going to move into Roshan. Excuse me, rather Trailer Park Boys. Ivory, they know Roshan's happening. But there's not too much they can do about it right now. It's still Aizen. Aizen jumped in. Oh no. Aizen, escape back will buy a little bit of time. He'll pop the BKB and run out of the arena for now. So instead they'll go after the Shaman. Grims, rather Drick will apparently eventually dies. They'll chase down Rupido now. Rupido with the BKB able to walk out of there. They also brought back on Drick. Aizen narrowly surviving thanks to his BKB. And the fact that they just changed targets.
An amp damage for the re-engage and the re-smoke? That's just insane RNG here.
We whiffs it though, but the avalanche toss. They do at least find Narman, and in fact, that RNG is probably going to allow them to take Roshan too.
That is just insanely unlucky for Trailer Park Boys. And they miss out on the kill on Aizen. He finds an amp damage. He's straight into the pit. He's got a full Mjolnir plus a Hyperstone as well. So much damage coming in from Aizen with that Corrosive Dragon, that a solo Roche. It's not the quickest in the world. It is going fast enough that you don't have a window here for Trailer Park Boys to come in. You might not even be expecting it. So another big win coming out for Ivory. Can take themselves a secondary life. On a transformation here, it doesn't feel too great on Aizen, to be fair, but it will still have impact. He's been playing on edge for a lot of these engagements. This will give him a little bit more wiggle room to push that edge even further here. And for the side of Trailer Park Boys, the farm is progressing on 423. The Scotty is only one part away. You are working yourself into the site of Vice here for 11. It just feels like there's a lack of damage, and again, when you do take these fights, it's such an all-in commitment, right? It has to be a good arena out from 11. At the least, he has the shard to help catch multiple heroes now with a spear, which could simplify the process a tad bit. But you are seeing just the effect of the draft that Ivory has. Again, this very early shard from Grims, the spotlight makes it super uncomfy for 423 to even try to leverage that damage out with his Conjure Image. The illusions just melt, cutting through a lot of the output of the Terrorblade in the middle of these engagements. Your hard hold for Ken. Every now and again, when Ken is alone, it does come out, but when the team fight's taken 5v5, it's so hard to spot out and isolate this puck. You have to work your tools right here in Trailer Park Boys with a sneaky smoke.
The smoke wrap around. Who they're going to find? It's going to be the Shaman they want first. This could be a dieback, but the escape act, it does buy a bit of time for Drick to get out of here. He's actually bought enough space to get the shackles off, but they finally deal with the Shaman. But can they keep going? It seems like they can. Aizen now in trouble. Aizen BKB's up trying to escape as they'll deal with Narman. It's a good start here for Trailer Park Boys, but Say now goes down. Ken will pick him off. Has buyback available. He might need to commit it as well because Aizen's not retreating. He wants that melee barracks. Walrus punch in. Aizen's still plenty of time on the Aegis. And it seems like even the Serpent Wards might just get this done. In fact, they do just barely. As they're about to expire, they get enough damage out and the melee barracks do drop. That's going to be enough for Ivory.
That's just so cheeky out from Ivory as well, right? Like the ward position's perfect for that engagement because they're forced to fight outside the high ground here for Trailer Park Boys. A really sneaky dust as well, just to ensure the wards kept hitting Se, allowing him to just be softened up for a very casual jump in from Ken. And again, for Trailer Park Boys, this is them taking initiative. This is them jumping in, trying to set up, and it just doesn't feel good, right? Like it still feels like they've had a better time if they counter-initiate perfectly, because we are seeing Ivory does also just commit in. Like, say, if Avalanche Toss is committed out, if your BKBs are popped early, if Dream Coil's popped on only 1 or 2 targets, maybe you can start to turn. You can hope on 11 to get that jump in, to get the arena in a much more impactful way. But when you go in first and they get to recommit their spells onto you with all of their own air control, with that Wheel of Wonder, with the Dream Coil, your own control here on Trailer Park Boys feels lacking, severely so. So it's so difficult to try to get a read on how you fight, because there's no simple way of doing it, right? Like, whereas for Trailer Park Boys, there's the toss back, there's the shackle, very non-committal. They'll just drop the ward. Still 2 minutes on the Aegis for Aizen. onto the mid, no problems. Look at that attack speed on this DK with the AC and Mjolnir. Doesn't take long.
No, it certainly does not. Eisen having a great old time here in this game 3. Now things have turned. I mean, they're going to jump in here, trying to find something with a spearback play, and now the arena down. Eisen, he's going to lose his first life. That's a start. Let's see them take the second one out, though. Spear is there. They've locked the DK down. Eisen's got a BKB and he'll pop it. He's looking to just casually walk out of there, and currently he is doing exactly that. So they'll be forced to false promise Sanctity to keep him alive, but Ken is doing so much work here on the puck. And the disengage from Ivory so far has been successful, and it does look like it's going to remain that way, as Trailer Park Boys really unable to find anything apart from that Aegis.
No. Again, it's just down to how you have to engage on this trap. It's so much all in on like arena and the roll, and there's no follow through from your supports. Maybe a good shard can come in. Maybe down the line Narman can work into the Ags. He is going for the BKB first. He wants to be able to actually stand there and try to use his utility, try to use the snowball to get a save out. But it does feel like until you hit Ags, you are going to have to commit everything to try to find these opportunities, right? It has to be that good spear. It has to be like a tight roll area where Sanctity can bounce off some walls, get some chain stuns. And it's just so much more forgiving to play Ivory's draft. 15k advantage now, 19 to 21. Roshan in 3 minutes, we'll see that timer start to tick away. There's even more spell amp coming out for Rupido with the Veil of Discord into the Shivas, and he's in a good spot to try to break a smoke. You smoke up on the high ground. That is spotted to be reapplied onto Sanctity, so instant pings on mid. Oh, they'll just break
Rupido.
it.
Oh, Rupido. Very confident position from the Tiny. He will give up his life. The rest of the squad was not close enough to consider a re-engagement. So a quick little pick off here for Trailer Park Boys, but they're going to need a lot more than that. A hell of a lot more, in fact.
Not they will. I'm a bit curious about Grupido's thought process on just walking up to the creep wave. He saw the Pangolier get applied in smoke. They did have that ward. So even after the creep wave was gone, he did see the Pango walk back into the smoke hero to get it applied onto him. And it's a nice pick off to get. That's a core kill you're finding when you're 13k behind in Trailer Park Boys. Yeah, it's not enough to swing this game back your way fully, but it is a shot in the arm. It's giving you some gold to play with. It's giving you some progression on the items. Daedalus coming out for 423 has the Crystallis up. So output on the TB is starting to kick in, but there's still a lot of physical armor he has to eat through. And with the AC up on Eisen, with even this full Satanic, not a simple process and just barreling away at the enemy core here for the side of Trailer Park Boys. And for the side of Ivory, it doesn't really set them back too much. They're still playing aggressive. They're still taking control on that bot jungle. There are wards spotting them out. The ward instantly a smoke out in Trailer Park Boys to try to capitalize, but they're a little bit too mobile here on Ivory. Maybe you can start to take a fight around Roche. You know it should be respawning in around 2-3 minutes time. Start to set some vision up. Have to wait and see as it's a smoke and smoke now.
It sure is. Smoke on smoke. They are going to see safe first.
Oh, that's
it's
a
a
big
perfect target to try and burst down, and they've got him. Snowball will not be there in time. They even found Sanctity, and now poor old Narman. He was just trying to keep his Oracle alive, but now there's 3 heroes without buyback available on Trailer Park Boys, and that could just be it. I think it's just over. How do you defend without 3 heroes?
You don't. Respawns are fairly long. There's enough time here to just clean up the high ground. Maybe a good spearback play at this point is what you bank on. Like they overextend, start to run up into Fountain. There's no Aegis to worry about at least, but yeah, this does not take too long with all of that damage on Eisen and with the wards down. Bot racks get wiped mid-set to follow. Top range racks not going to take too long as well. Just a full megas from a misplay. And that's Trailer Park Boys again going for that smoke first. It was the response out from Ivory. They took the later smoke. They still had control down bot. And for Trailer Park Boys, I don't know how you go from here. Again, you kind of bank on just some misplays now from Ivory, from them starting to overextend a tad bit. Not seeing that anytime soon. And you did lose your courier on 11, which I believe was pretty much his full side of Vice waiting with the last item coming out. So you don't have buyback as well on your Mars, and you don't have that key piece of control. Big window, especially since that could line up with Roche Timer here, where Trailer Park Boys just lack that one gimme moment for themselves. Like, just that extra control that they feel like they lack to find their burst window to play with here.
Times are tough for sure. Things have really fallen apart here for Trailer Park Boys. Which again, it's going to be a pretty sore topic considering how dominant game one was for them. You know, considering how close they were to just getting a 2-0 sweep and moving on. It's going to be a bit bitter being in this position now as Trailer Park Boys, but that's where we've ended up. They're not out of it yet by any stretch, but Mega Creeps do make things pretty damn challenging. They are incoming. And it's really a matter of when Ivory want to go for the jugular now. Like, that's kind of what we're looking at. Is a lamb being led to the slaughter.
Yeah.
The Trailer Park Boys, they've probably got one fight left in them left. Here we go, jump in, Rupido. He's going to find the Mars immediately. No vision necessary. 11 gone, no buyback on the Mars, and just the damage up from Eisen. So damn high. Jump in, here we go. Another great avalanche from Rupido. Narman gone. 4-2-3 gone.
They called?
And GG is called. They have seen enough. Ivory, they will proceed through the upper bracket. And Trailer Park Boys, they'll have to start their journey once again in the low.